I was born in Peru, in South America. My dad, since he was a pastor, we moved around a lot in Peru. And when I was 4, he went to seminary in Guatemala. I don't remember anything about Peru at all. I just see the pictures, and so I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, but I really don't. You know, it's just pictures. Our traditions, you know, the thing about our family is that it was always the 4 of us. We never lived in your family. You know, I don't really remember. I know I have lots of aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents, but we really were never very close. So for me, my family is my mom, my dad, my brother, his wife, his kids, and my son. I remember, like, we were always, for Christmas, we were always at church. For New Year's, we were always at church. For Easter, we were always, every time we were always at church. And so other people would do other things that I've seen here in the United States a little bit of, but growing up, you know, it was always church. That was really, you know, like right now I'm just saying it, that's our tradition. It was really the church, the prayer, you know, being together as a family. And as far as the diocese, I have seen, you know, some growth. I mean, biggest one, Andy speaks Spanish, and, you know, when he goes to San Mateo, he preaches in Spanish and things like that. But you know, there's still a lot of challenge. I think in the diocese, there are some things that are great. You know, there's a lot of unity, and there's some things that I hope someday become better. I still sometimes feel like an outsider in the Episcopal Church. One of the first things that I remember when I started working in a national church was that the preacher was saying, you know, you are all part of the wider church. And I thought he had said whiter, W-H-I-T-E-R, because that's how I feel. But he meant W-I-D-E-R, you know, the wider church. And in some cases, I still believe that it's the whiter church. And, you know, the language, it's, you know, I never really see somebody reading the gospel in a really accented English that nobody could understand, but I have heard the gospel in Spanish in a really hard, you know, English accent or Spanish accent, or English accent, where I couldn't even understand it. You know, so things like that has happened recently. You know, so I hope that one day, you know, it's not about, hey, let's do this in English or in Spanish, or for it to be like a committee having to decide what songs should be sung or not, but it should just be, you know, part of the norm. We're going to sing this song, and it's not going to be Pescador de Hombres, you know, during a mass, just because we just want to sing it in Spanish or in French or in another language. We are not, all the people that look like me are not Mexican. That's one thing that I always get a lot. You know, you're Mexican, or you speak Mexican. Not all of us speak Spanish. Not all of us know, you know, who Ricky Martin is, or, or, you know, not all of us like mariachi music. All of us have the same experiences as anybody else. You know, we all have broken hearts, we all have broken spirits, and we've all come to God to be healed from that, and to have, you know, the whole community. When I speak to people, no matter what their age, no matter what their background, everybody wants to be accepted, everybody wants to fit in and to be invited, you know. In our church, I mean, one of the biggest things I think of the Episcopal Church is that we say that everybody's invited to the table. And so let's do that. Let's really, you know, have a table that has tortillas as well as bread. And, you know, by the way, I'm Peruvian, so I didn't know anything about tortillas until I got to Guatemala. But just, you know, just for us to really mean we're all invited to the table. And I may not know what you like, but come to my table and just share with whatever I have, or, you know, or tell me what you like, and, you know, let's get to know each other. It's about communication, it's about acceptance, it's about openness. I think my best friends, not, you know, they don't look just like me, but it's we don't have to, you know, we just, our hearts are the same.